It's Leo season, and for tonight's show, we're talking about Vibe Detox 2.0. Find out what that means, and I'm answering all your questions with live readings coming up right now.
That looks like a Devin or David.
David is his name. It's been so spot on.
And I don't know if you put it in the side of your end table or not. You like to summon your end table. It's too.
My God, you're crazy.
Yeah.
You might be hard on your right knee when you're running. Make sure you're not too hard on the right knee.
100%.
Okay.
Honey, I'm a runway walker. Okay.
I don't know if she's showing me flowers. Like, relay them or redo them. These purple flowers.
Oh my God, Scott, the flowers are right there. My orchids are purple. They completely are dead.
Yeah.
Did you even know? You nailed
100%.
everything, every single thing. Listen, everyone, this guy.
Tell me something that he told you that came true.
Everything he's predicted has come true.
I just don't see it.
Who doesn't have cancer?
It's very possible.
Camera's psychic, who first questioned Brooke's cancer.
Scott Cruz.
Oh, there
I
you
know
won.
it's last
You
name.
won.
You better question yourself. We're here to bring enlightenment, not confusion.
You might encounter negative aspects of self, but that's a freeing experience.
Because then they start realizing that they can't think outside the box. And I said, if you can't think outside the box, then who's the stupid one here? The solution for me is awakening people to the bull.
I agree.
People need to stop being deterred by nonsense. You gotta summon the people.
I don't just come on here and talk shit or parrot shit. I'm living it.
In harmony with nature, in a mystical adventure, we're building on a culture.
Happy Thursday Night Live, everybody. Welcome to the Cruisyverse. How has your week been? It's been an interesting week. I see it week to week. It's always the same old, same old. We're in a heavy, dense decade and era, I would say. So we're trying to weather that storm, but we're now in Leo season. So y'all feel in the heart? Because I feel like the last week has been really testing the patience of the heart. And so I don't know if you guys have been feeling that at all. I have, but it's also been, great to be on the other side of realizing where my heart truly stands. And so I hope you guys are really understanding where your heart truly stands. And sometimes we got to knock ourselves around a bit. We'll do it with relationships. We'll do it with our bodies. We'll do it in so many different ways for us to realize, oh yeah, there's that little thing still in the past that still's going on, that's still happening, that I need to fix and amend, right? And so I think this last week has been a week to really do a lot of that realization and owning it. And wherever you're at, and I think, a lot of times we find limitations within ourselves and we fight those limitations, but it's like when we own it, then we can actually nurture it and evolve from it and rework it and turn it to something new. And so and sometimes our limitations don't have to be limitations. It actually can be our great strengths, believe it or not. So we need to start looking at things that way and putting our heart and soul into these essences of what we're experiencing and understand what life is trying to tell you through the ups, through the downs, to the silence, to the neutral, all that great stuff. And so we'll get into that with our topic, actually, because the topic is Vibe Detox 2.0, because the 1.0 sucked. And we'll get into what does it mean to clear your energy, to clear your space, and create an environment that's just your vibe, and how to be conscious of what energy is around you that could be contaminating your vibe. So we don't want no shit. We don't want no Febreze watered down thoughts. Haven't said that in a long time, right? We don't want that stale energy. We want some fresh vibes. And so we'll get into that with our topic. And of course, we'll do our collective research to begin. But before I do, let's see who's chatty Cathy in the room here, shall we? Let me go back, see who's chatting here. David Cruz and Jennifer Cruz, mom and dad, first in the room. All right. They created me and they're here in the first in the room. Caroline Cadden, good to see you. Bright Light Becca Boo, happy Thursday. Good to see you. You're driving your son. I'm sure you'll catch a replay. Danielle Hall, good to see you. I can't help thinking how cute and unique Scott is. We both Aquarians. Yeah. Thank you. That's sweet for that. Yeah, we are very much the aquas. We like to change, actually. I wouldn't say we're chameleons, but we definitely like to change. We don't like to be in the same modality forever. And a wonderful Leo, Rashida, good to see you. Hey, Nina in the Cruisies. It's been a while here, but I've been watching the replays. Yes, I've been seeing you catching the replays. I'm glad you're here live. Hopefully you'll stick around. If not, there's always a replay available too. So good to see you here, Rashida, as well. And of course, you got Bright Light Nina K. Our wonderful mod Nina is in the room. She's back. She's feeling better than ever. And so if you want to get a question in, get them in now. $15 for a card pull, $20 for one question, $30 for two, and $40 for a live video. And the video can only be done through Venmo because I have to be able to send you the link. And so the PayPal and Venmo links are in the description. And our wonderful mod Nina will be able to help and assist if you have any questions about that. Hit her up. Darby Mabry, good to see you. Horses Trigger Hope, she'll be volunteering the live stream. We love you, and well, hopefully you'll catch the replay too. So you're in our spirits, you're in our hearts, right? That's the best I can say. Well, you're in our hearts and our souls. Who else is chatting? Libra, good to see you. I like the name Libra, like almost like Libra. Yeah, bro. Catches Orange Go Magic, good to see you. Rachie, hello, good to see you. Sydney, Aaron, my sister from another mister, good to see you on here, babe. As well, Erica, it's good to see you, my Tootsie. How you doing? How you feeling? Long time. Good to see you as well. Brenda's Wet, good to see you. Lucy, Jennifer Wagoneer, Linda Jane, Janelle Haugen, good to see you as well. Welcome aboard. James Portyverse. James Porterfield, yo, Cruiser fam. I have a breathwork class where I'm breathing, but I wanted to stop by to say hi so everyone has a great night and week ahead. Well, James, make sure you do your breathwork not on Thursdays so we can all join you on your breathwork. And hope it's not your class, but okay. Tommy Garassi, good to see you. Andrea Williams, Carrie Rama, good to see you as well. Who else here? Tracy Sparkling Grit, and all you all who are in the room. All right, Tina Smith and Kate Yo, good to see you. All right, let's get these cards shuffled for the collective read, shall we? Let's get this going here. I like to address you all, but and give your guys a shout out. I don't know if you guys remember Romper Room when you were a kid, where at the end of the show, she looked at this like magic wand. She goes, I see Scott, I see David. And she mentioned all the names, and I'd wait, my little 4-year-old self, and she said Scott, she saw me. So I like to acknowledge my viewers here, whoever's in the room. And those you are watching, I can't see. You can only see who's chatting in the room. So if you're watching, welcome aboard too. If you're new, I'm a psychic medium. I can don't need cards, but I use cards for collective purposes like this. And so it helps me kind of like guide on the collective purposes and so forth. So shuffling these cards and see, we'll see kind of the week ahead. Actually, usually it's week to week forecast. Sometimes it's more about what you need to hear. I think this will be a forecast for the week, what to pay attention to, and where we need to be going with this vibe, this energy. All right, still shuffling, and I always can tell by the shuffling of cards how the energy is, and they're clean. All right, knew that was coming. All right, I kind of feel like that was the vibe of this collective. Seeing how the cards are flowing. Okay, gotcha. This is kind of a read. It's gonna be pissed off to get off the pot. I just have a good vibe feeling about that. Shuffle some oracles and we get on the way. This is live. I wish I could fast forward. That those of you who are rewatching the recording, you could fast forward this part, but got to get these cards going here. Okay. I'll pull just a couple of these and we'll be gone. Makes sense. All right, give me a couple of seconds. Let me tune in. We're going. Okay. Yes, the energy is piss or get off the pot. Now, I don't want to say that to be rude in a sense. I want to see it to be encouraging, because what are you waiting for? What are all you guys waiting for? Because when it comes to what of course, when we speak to the collective, we got to talk about relationships, career, money, work, all these different, areas in our lives that we're hyper focused on. But what are you waiting for? What are you waiting on? Are you waiting for other people? Are you waiting for the universe? Are you waiting for God? Because those parameters don't move until you do. Once you move, the universe shifts, right? Once you take a move, then someone meets you in the middle as well. So if you're kind of waiting for things to happen or waiting for things to show up, and many people are waiting and don't know they're waiting in that sense of for something to happen. They're just kind of like, I don't know what to do. So I'm kind of just like waiting to see if things change. It's like, well, we got to make the change. And as simple as this message is, and I'm kind of stumbling upon it because I'm like, it is rather simplistic. I like to be philosophical, but in this case, I'm going to say very simple in this message, is that we have to understand in order to start new, we have to be new. In order to start a new chapter, we have to create the new essences of what that new chapter entails, right? You can't keep repeating the same things from your previous chapter and say, well, I'm going to start this new paradigm of my life. It's like it can't happen until you stop the patterns that have been consistently hindering you in order for you to start that new chapter. So what does that look like for you to start that new chapter? And what is the new chapter? there's so many people that I speak to, they don't understand where to go, and so they're defined by their circumstances, they're defined by what they're watching on social media, they're defined by what the news is dictating how they feel. The news is dictating how the market is dictating how they will feel in the future financially. So all these different things are dictating how you feel versus what you feel from the soul, what you feel from the heart, because we can maneuver around a physical reality. This matrix, even though as dense as we are in three-dimensional reality, we can still maneuver around things the way they are now collectively in order to express and live the life that we intended to come here and live. And we knew to live our experiences in the parameters in which this matrix is currently calibrated. Because this matrix is calibrated based on of our collective consciousness, based on how we're all perceiving reality, all our fears collectively, how they align or not align. That's what's created this collective current that we're in now. So you're a part of it. I'm a part of it. We're all a part of it based on where we've came from with our previous incarnations. So, but what's the next chapter? Because as of now, collectively, we're kind of cycling in this energy of like stale energy of non-progression, energy of confusion, and a lot of frustration because a lot of people are feeling their truth right now, but they don't quite know how to express it. A lot of people are saying, this is now my truth. I'm embracing this truth, but how do I go about expressing this? And the only way you go about expressing it towards beneficial is when you stop judging yourself for it. Judging yourself for that previous chapter that you just lived. Okay, end. All right, you fucked that relationship up. Next, end. All right, you didn't quite know about the circumstance of who you are, but now you do. Now what do you want to do with it? End. Right? So what are you waiting for? And so usually it's not the people that we're waiting on. It's not the universe that we're waiting on. We're waiting for the okay in ourselves to say, it's okay. I allow myself to move forward and express who I intend to be. It's the allowance of self. Because at the end of the day, if you're waiting on that person to validate you, aren't you the person that's going to validate whether or not their validation is valid for you or not, to be redundant? So if you're the man that's going to say, well, that person's validation validated me, well, then you don't need the middle guy. Validate yourself right now. And when you do, you will start moving ahead. You'll start saying to yourself, like, why I had this great idea. Why have I not put that into motion? You know, I really want to have that conversation with that person that I had interest in. Why have I not actually gone there? Right? And so you'll start asking yourselves, why have you not followed your heart? Why have you not followed your intuition? Why have you not followed your interests, instead sabotaging? Why do I keep sabotaging? Because surely the feeling of sabotage can't be any better than rejection that many people are fear of, which is why they don't move forward. Fear of rejection. Oh, they're going to judge me for my limitations. They're going to judge me for how I am. So you hold back. But that can't feel any better than the state of rejection or state of isolation and deprivation. So you should push yourself out there and say, what is rejection after all? Because, again, it's just somebody else's opinion. Why do I need anybody else's opinion other than just working and building my own personal expressions? Right? And then conquering my own personal goals, because that's what's making me happy. I'm the dictator of my happiness, not the circumstances or anybody else. See, it's this mindset that we have to obtain in order for us to actually move forward and piss and get off the pot, pissing off the pot type of energy, right? It's that energy will help you to move forward in that way, to expand in that fashion. But if we're sitting here diddly-dallying, because the first card was a Fool card. I forgot to show it. The Fool card is all about new beginnings, right? So we are embarking collectively on a new beginnings, right? And especially in Leo season, it's all about the heart and being loyal to the self in that sense. In this case, with the age of Aquarius, we got to be loyal to ourselves and understand what that is and how it contributes to the external world and those around us. So then we can actually have that participation in being in the state of love, which means that you're enjoying and loving the things that you are doing. Right? This is the Fool card, but you also have to be cautious of where you're leaping, what direction you're taking right now. So, but you got to push. I mean, again, a lot of you guys are spiritually constipated or intellectually constipated. You have like all these great ideas, but you're just like, I can't get it out. It's like, well, just do something to push it out. Do something just to kind of like, experiment a little bit, because especially just you pondering something or expressing something within yourself, there's no harm in this. It's not life or death, right? So push it out of you and find ways to express it, little ways that you're comfortable with to begin that momentum and that motion forward. Because the Two of Swords here that comes in the second position is really about kind of like a stalemate energy, not knowing the direction to go. And usually that is because you're still holding on to the past. And it sounds cliche. We say, let go of the past, let go of the past. And we hear it all the fucking time, let go of the past. But if it was that easy, you'd do it instead of hearing it all the goddamn time, right? But the question really is what's What's keeping you, in the past? What's keeping you from letting go of that past? And a lot of times we've defined ourselves and found our comfort zone in the past energy, the past chapter. So if we remove the comfort zone, we're afraid that we're left with nothing. But you see, that's the wrong way of looking at that. When you let go of the crutches, you have much more to ride on, to create, to express, to evolve into. You have the freedom. So a lot of people I hear, they're just afraid because they have the fear of the unknown, so they hold on to what's familiar to them. It's like, well, create intellectually, start envisioning and visualize what you know to be true for yourself and rationalize how that can actually be a physical experience for you, and watch what happens intellectually. You'll start, stop entertaining the bullshit. You'll stop entertaining the people around you who are just gossiping and talking shit, or you'll stop entertaining the vapid experiences, the vapid connections. You'll start saying to yourself, like, why am I actually surrounding myself with all these vapid connections when all I can be doing is clearing the space out, clearing the energy out, and then allowing myself to welcome in people that actually do match what I really, really desire, really what I really want. So now's the time, guys, to get rid of those relationships too that are this back and forth energy, kind of in this middle neutral zone that's not really like progressing, but it's also like not going backwards, but it's not going forward. It's time to like push that aside now. It's time to push that aside now, because how long are you going to be comfortable in a gray zone? Gray zone is undefined. So to take a risk and a leap of faith, whatever you want to call it to be, I just say move forward in the direction you desire. Forget about everybody else. To do what you intend to do. It's your experience. Go in that direction, taking that leap. It actually feels better. Even if you got hit a wall, you hit something that was a detour, it feels better because you know you can maneuver around it versus just staying in a gray zone of no definition. And it's like this, it's almost similar to the energy for me when someone is alone in a relationship. That's the ultimate form of like void, right? So even when you're staying in a gray zone in your life, like that's a void energy. You're going to feel very insecure and very unproductive and depressed and frustrated. And, so it's time now to start these new chapters, because even with the, Eight of Swords comes up about being trapped, but also, I like to read this as saying that it's time to be untrapped, unstick yourself to these things by being conscious of those dynamics. Right? Because this is where a lot of people feel like they're losing in life, or they're not succeeding in life, because they understand that, because they don't understand actually the fact that they're still holding on to the deprivations in life just to kind of pacify their space, to fill the space. How important is it to fill your space with crap? I mean, we've heard all the time the cliche sentiment, I'd rather be alone than be miserable in a relationship. That should be with every circumstance. I'd rather be without it than be stressed with it. Right? Because this way you have the bandwidth intellectually and the spiritual space to play around with things that really more are, I would say, in alignment to your vibe, your energy. And you are the master, the dictator of what makes you happy, what doesn't. You're the dictator of how you feel. You are the dictator of how you feel, not the circumstances or people around you. That's the message here. When you let go of that idea, you let go of the past naturally, and your emphasis becomes on creating from where you're at. Whatever you deem your limitations to be is irrelevant, because you can spawn something from limitation. You can always spawn and grow from something. You can always, take something and turn it into more. That's the magic of physical reality. That's the magic of being a spiritual being and soul consciousness, is that we could take something from nothing and make something from nothing and make it more and better and bigger and so forth. We are the magicians that way. So, and as I always say, we are the gods of our own myth. And so that means that we are the dictators of what happens and does not happen, and how we choose to experience things in our lives. And so when you're in those circumstances, if you're at the bar around people that you just don't like, that are just very vapid, ask yourself, why are you there? Why am I here? If you're in a job that you cannot stand, that you don't like, it just is not express your talents, ask yourself, why am I here? Good question to ask yourself. And when you finally ask the question, why you're here, then ask yourself, where do I want to be? Where do I want to be participating my energy in? What does my heart say? I know heart sounds cliche too, but what do you feel? That's the soul. That's the vibe of the soul. So we can't be fragmenting our energies this week on things that no longer serve or match our intentions of the future. And if you continue to mingle with those things, don't blame anybody else of why your future is not in this process of manifest. Blame yourself, the fact that you're allowing yourself to move forward to the next chapter, and whatever that means or feels like for you. It's all personal. And so very, very freaking simple. right? This isn't a philosophical conversation as much as it's just kind of like straight on the nose, kind of cheerleading and motivation type of speech here. And the Oracle cards here is all about release. And the 5, of Cups here, the tarot, is all about, a lost energy, but we're releasing the loss. You're releasing the deprivations. You're not sustaining conditional circumstances just to fill a void that you think that you have because you think you need to substitute with something. And if the substitute is pulled away, you're going to feel even more lost. And that's bullshit. That's a lie. That's not true. Until you allow yourself to identify that you have the choice. See, again, very simple. You have the choice to dictate and to put whatever else you would like in your life, in your circumstances. But many of you guys are downing yourselves too much. You're judging yourselves too much for whatever limitations that you think you had. Start asking yourselves about the limitations of those around you that you give credit for. What are their limitations? We all have limitations to a certain degree, right? So we got to release that energy. And it's interesting the masculine card came out. So we have to think about the divine masculine. We had a period before we all focused on the divine feminine. Now we need to focus on the divine masculine, which is all about, standing your ground and going warrior mode now, right? Divine masculine is a very protective energy. It's a warrior-like mentality, right? And so a lot of you guys have been nurturing things too much. Overly empathetic and overly sensitive about energetically about people around you and what they're feeling and so forth. But now it's time to set those boundaries, start protecting our spaces and our vibe. So other things do not contaminate our vibe. So let's get into the topic. And I keep forgetting to put these banners on. That was a collective reading. We are now doing the chat, which is a Vibe Detox 2.0. What is your vibe? Stupidly simple question. What's your vibe? And see, what we need to understand is some people say, oh, my vibe is happy. Try again. Well, my vibe is chill. Try again. You see, because your vibe is constructed of so many other dynamics of things that you participate in. You might like horror movies. You might like comedic stuff. You might like music. So understand the different variables in your life that creates one overall arching vibe. Right? And so you want to identify the parameters in your own life that creates your own unique signature vibe. Once you really fully identify that, right, then you just need to ask yourself, who's contaminating my vibe? What around me is contaminating my vibe? And like I said earlier, a lot of times it is your work, it's your family, it's your career, it's your own expectations of others around you. You know what I'm saying? So when you actually understand what your own vibe is, you're saying, my vibe is pretty chill. I don't want anybody else to interfere with that vibe. So I'm actually going to be very selective on how to purge the things that don't coincide with my vibe, with my essence. And so when you're very clear about this, you'll be so sensitive intellectually about how people are reacting towards you. Because then you're allowing yourself to grow. When you realize your vibe, you start allowing yourself to want to expand that more. It's like a natural process that you'll be hypersensitive to people that are just maybe woe is me all the time. Like, I can't handle that energy anymore. Clear that out of your space. And you shouldn't have to also sacrifice your own vibe or state of being simply because somebody else isn't getting it. Many guys are not in the position and strong enough to be helping people around you because you feel like you're just empathetic. And so we got to take care of our own garden, as we say. Again, a lot of cliches tonight. And as you all know, I hate cliches, those that watch me. But it really is a message of what we have to focus on right now. Focus on your own garden. Don't worry about somebody else and what they're going through. If you're not in a position to really listen or help, don't. Solidify your vibe. Because when you actually allow yourself to solidify that vibe, then your intuition will be more clear of what you need to do next. You'll feel the pulse. It'll be very clear to you. And so, and when we resist this, when we step outside of our vibe, boom, accidents happen. I don't know, I got in that car accident. I don't know, I fell down a flight of stairs, or I don't know, I got this health issue now, and oh my God, I lost my job, and this relationship broke out. When you're in resistance and you're not allowing yourself to settle in your own vibe and preserving that, you're dropping into someone else's vibe, guess what happens? Shit happens. Because you're not in your state of being that you prefer. You're not in your own essence. So that's going to cause negative reactions, negative results in your life, right? So if you ask yourself this, does it fit my vibe? If it's gone, did it match my vibe? Be honest. You'll probably say, no. How'd it go? You wouldn't mingle and try to get it back in that relationship. You wouldn't try to pull it back in again. You'd be like, it's not my vibe. They might be a great person. It's just not my vibe. See, that's tuning into your intuition, right? And so, and the same thing with your work. A lot of people just working just because they have to make money. It's like, but if you really had to choose your job, what would it be? Your career? What's your vibe? Hop into that. Step into that. Once you allow it to become just an intellectual idea, and the more you kind of keep, pondering that idea, the more rational it will become, and you'll get it done. You'll get it done. So everything's a messenger in your life and telling you whether or not it's on par with your vibe or not. And so, and when you're taking the initiative to clear out everything that's not really aligning with your vibe, I would say too, it's not even just people anymore. We have to look at social media. What are we participating in? What are we actually engaging with daily? A lot of times we're in a routine intellectually. We watch the same shit at the same time. I'm not talking about the show here. I'm talking about my life. But I mean, honestly, seriously, we scroll the same thing and we don't realize unconsciously how all these things that we're participating, that we're viewing, that we're engaging with is actually affecting your mood and your vibe. The music you want to listen to constantly over and over again, it's going to affect your vibe, or it could put you in a good vibe. It doesn't always have to be a negative thing too. You could be like, I just came off a bad day and put on some good music to boost up my vibe. These are things we have to be conscious on day to day and constantly purge day to day until we get to a point where our vibe is so solidified, nothing can shake it. This is the state of being we need to be in to move forward. So, although this isn't like diving deep into metaphysics or the structure of reality or all these philosophical ideas, but this is a message that we need to hear this week, because this reminder will leave us more consciously aware of what we're engaging with and why, and what we're not, and what we can do to engage with those things that we haven't been, that we know we should be. Right? So, again, you should be very picky about your vibe and what you're listening to, what you're consuming, because it's going to affect, especially if you're in a state of weak-mindedness, and you could your mind can be very easily suggested, suggestible. I'm trying to think of the word, impressionable. Thank you. That's what I was thinking about. Thank you, Spirit. Your mind can be very easily can be very impressionable if you're not solidifying your vibe. And so I see a lot of people, their mood swings based on what they're watching on the news every day. I'm like, really, dude? There's more to that than that, and you don't even know half of the shit's going behind the scenes. And we can maneuver around that. So you might have to shut those things off, clear your vibe out. And also amplify your vibe too. Personalize your home. Personalize where you're living. Personalize your spaces. It sounds stupid. And it sounds stupidly simple, but how many guys are actually doing that and making that personalization to bring your energy into your homes? I do sessions on Zoom, and guess what I see on Zoom? So people in like these bare, rooms. Not a lot, some. And I'm like, personalize your room. Your room was boring, right? And so when you do it, it just brings that essence in your vibe. And it's time to do that now at the home. I'm not going to belabor this point because it's very simple, but you guys need to really be focusing on this and asking yourself these questions. Is that my vibe? Is this my vibe? And if you let that be what you constantly are focusing on, that'll solve a lot of your questions. A lot of your questions. And answer a lot of your questions in the sense of, why you're not doing things you want to do. You'll start seeing where your space is being congested and contaminated. So I think that's it with that message, and your vibe cleansing, and and what are you waiting on to do so? Because if you don't understand how to get that new job going, or how to get that new relationship, or how to get the financial success and stability that you're looking for, you start it by knowing what is your vibe and what is not. Because then you'll be in tune to what you match with and what truly matches you, and life will become more like I would say, a conveyor belt in a sense. You'll feel like things are always coming your way, and if you miss something else. So there's always a movement going on, as life is always in movement. You'll feel that because you allow yourself to detox from all the shit that's been blinding and filtering your perspective and filtering your soul. So keep it simple this week, okay? And that is something, that you have to understand. My mom wants me to show my 5-year-old modeling photo. It's somewhere. I don't know why, but I'll have to show it somewhere to pick it out. But let's get into these live readings. I don't have, Nina, we don't have a message from you, but Nina, I'm going to play an older message just because I need to take a break for the sessions. Here's a quick message from Nina, and I will start the live readings. There we go. How long was I muted for? How long was that? Was that better? Okay. I must have pressed the space bar. Okay. We got it. All right. Sounds on. I pressed the button there. All right. Brooks C has a question, and she says, I've had a crush on this guy for over a year. Recently, it seems like he likes me back, but not sure if this on the same level as I do. Can you pick up on what his intentions are? Okay. Let me see. You know, it's funny because I feel like he's here, then he's there, then he's here, then he's there. So I just feel like he's very scattered in his life. And obviously, you know, even just your question, I mean, intellectually, it feels that there's a reluctancy of settling down. So it's not that he doesn't have the interest in you. It's more of an interest of settling down that I think that he has having issue with. You know? So I really feel like he is interested, but not interested in settling down just now with anybody. You know, so, and I do feel like there's kind of a dabbling back and forth. So it feels casual to me in a sense, right? So I think if you wanted to like enjoy this casually, it's fine. But I don't feel like it's going to evolve into something serious. You know, just where you're at in your life, where he's at in his life, and where he wants to. And I even feel like he might even start traveling at some point too, or you know, if that includes a move or something with work. So there might be where he's actually not even in the same location a lot. So I just feel this on the go energy with him, you know, a lot too. So it's something that would be casual, but I don't feel like it's something that would necessarily be long term. Unless you're patient enough to ride through this consistency, which would take a couple years, then that's possible. But I also feel like he's still kind of sowing his oats a little bit in a sense, or, you know, want to just have options as well. So my advice on this would be is like, you know, engage with it, but also seek other partners, other relationships too, you know, and accept it for what it is currently without burning a bridge. Because, again, we want to keep these bridges open because I don't feel like the person himself is a bad guy. I read a lot of them. I just feel that, you know, he just needs to have his space and cake and eat it too type of ordeal. And I don't think it's bad that he's, you know, in that predicament. I think he needs to get that out of his system. But, you know, when he gets ready to settle down, perhaps you guys might connect again. I don't lead into false hopes like that because I feel like, you know, if it's not going to work out, I'll tell you so. But it's a potential, if you guys move on, it can come back. But I wouldn't wait on it, though. Because part of you putting that into gear is actually not waiting on things, and then causing emotional pain to where it actually would never be a possibility in the future. So, I would, if you can't accept it for being casual or being for what it is now in that sense, or the state is at now, then I would take a step back from it, and that could also fuel a change within him. So, but yeah, and the thing is, like, there's not really any intentions, really. You know what I mean? Like, there's no intentions on his end other than saying, like, and I get the question about intention, but it's more about him enjoying you for where you're at and what it is, not trying to build it in something big in the future, you know. But it would take a lot of time for it to get there, if it would. So, okay. Okay, we got Beth L. We'll say. We have, is the man who's been seeing me, who I've fallen in love with, who might be living with another woman, is he seeing her or doing things with her today or has he been? Or does he prefer to do things with me? I've stepped away for a couple of days to clear my mind. I honestly, point blank, I feel like he's interacting with that woman, okay? And financially, legally, all that stuff seems to be a whole combination of what's going on with this individual, right? So again, he's going to want it, like I was saying to the last questioner, that cake and eat it too energy, but this person's being somewhat malicious about it. So yes, there's still engagement and interaction there. And I would say he prefers to do things with you. I would say that he is I just get he's using you for sex. He's using you for circumstances when he wants it. I'll say that, Beth. You know, at this point, in the beginning, he, you know, again, honest about what he wants and all that sort of stuff too, but like he's so disconnected in that sense from his own life, in a sense that I don't know how he'd be able to connect with anybody else fully long term and be committed. But I do feel connection with this woman. It feels legally financial something with the woman, and I feel like he's wants you to be there when he wants you there. You know, it's selfish. I was trying to find another word for it, but that's the best word I can come up with. This is selfish, position to be in. And I would say it's time to, fully take a step back from that. We got a video with Rashida. All right, so let's get Rashida. Go look at your Venmo. Let me get my earbuds on. If I ever go mute again, let me know, Nina. I think because I have my keyboard here and I have my iPad. And I pressed the button. It turned it off. Rashida, I'm going to give you the link. If I can, I like, I wish we would do more video reads. So I probably would maybe change the pricing around. Perhaps I'll do video reads for a lot cheaper, so people can feel more inclined to do them. I like it's more engaging, especially for people watching. So, all right, Rashida Wistanovic. Between me, let me give you that. Hold on, because my. Okay, here it is. Electronics have been really screwy. Anybody have almost like retrograde energy? Okay. All right, Rashida, I sent you the link, so feel free to call in, and I will do a quick card pull while we wait for you doing that. And next we have Sydney Aaron card pull. All right. Sorry about that. All right. I sent that link, Rashida, in the Venmo, and I'm just going to do a card pull for Sydney real quick. Maybe I have backside or not order came. I try to pay attention to pay for coffee. Go. Okay. All right. So this is for you, Sydney. Interesting. Okay. Well, Sydney, you got the 3 of Pentacles. Now, that's my community card. And so the community card is saying you need to be around friendships. You need to create some more friendships and people who are actually in a community. I think you need some external support. So they're saying with 3 of Pentacles, find a community of people that you can find and you can nestle up into. It's really time to start nestling in a community in friendships. And what are new friendships that come your way, I actually feel like, too, so we could build a foundation with friendships. And they're saying, King of Pentacles in reverse is kind of stop being so practical. I think you've been practical for a while too, lately, that's keeping you in this kind of stage of really not doing anything or actually following your heart in a sense. But I know you feel like there's a pull to do something more, right? So they're saying stop being so practical. And if you're thinking overly practical, then it's time to step outside that modality so you can actually be more in tune to boom, the 3 of Pentacles energy of oh, this is my group, this is my vibe, this is my tribe. Right? And honestly, that's where it's going to lead to partnership. Now, partnership to me is also, friendship partnerships, but also love partnerships. So that's so many people say oh, should I be on the dating site? I'm like, no, go nest up with a group of friends, and you'll meet people through there, and that could spawn a relationship and so forth, right? So, say now's the time to engage with that, and setting those parameters now, and then think about what partnership means for you on the romantic level. And once you do this, then, I really feel like that's when you'll start feeling more movement in your relationship sector of your life. And especially with the new home energy, new vibe, personalize the hell out of your new home, the new space, personalize the fuck out of it. Right? And really understand that this is my vibe. Ain't no one else going to contaminate this. Because when we personalize our spaces, like I was saying before, it sounds stupidly simple, but you're actually intellectually seeing yourself make your own space, and you're participating. You're taking the action to do so. So you'll protect it and cherish it, and not want anyone to fuck it up. All right. So that's the time now to do so. All right. Great. and you love the people who live here. Yeah, it's fantastic. So there, you'll find a community of people that you can dive into as well. Hell yeah, baby. All right. Get ready. Be ready, right? All right, let's get Rashida on. I just have to get my headset on. My phone's on here. So bear with me a second here as I get Rashida on here. That's all right. Boom, boom. Rashida, give me un momento so I can get these headphones on. So I can hear you and not you don't echo. All right. All right, we got it plugged in. All right, I am here. What's up, darling?
Hey, can you hear me?
Yes, look at that gorgeous Leo hair.
Yeah.
Love it. I love it.
Yeah, is it too dark?
I mean, it could be brighter, but it's okay. I could still see you in a sense, You
sure? Yeah. Okay, because I can turn on the light. I just don't have that special RuPaul's Drag Race lighting, and it's the end of the day, so we gotta work with things.
It's all good in the hood. Don't worry about it. So, where do you want me to tap in for you, my love?
Okay. Oh God. Let me think. Okay. Oh, so first, I would say my youngest daughter, Samira. Love her to death. I'm just curious about her current relationship, her girlfriend. She and her girlfriend.
Okay. Yeah, let me tap in before you spill the beans, and because I got let me do my job, right?
I'm not spilling. I wouldn't do that.
Good. You know me well. Let me look at this dynamic. Give me a moment and tune into that. Yeah, there's a codependency there. I think they're both they're two peas in a pod in a good way, but also in a bad way. They're two peas in a pod. You know what I'm saying? Like they're very similar, but I feel like their similarities also are very chaotic and catastrophic too. I feel like the girlfriend could be a little controlling. Not that your daughter's a pushover. I'm not saying it either. She ain't perfect, but because I feel like she could bring just as much spice as the girlfriend, but I feel like the girlfriend does have an upper hand, in the control, and I think that might frustrate your daughter too, in a sense. And so this is where I feel like they bump their heads, And so, now, do I feel like it's a toxic relationship? Well, I think there's moments of toxicity in a lot of relationships that are struggling to find its place. So I think they have a lot of work to do on that, But I think that if they were mature about approaching this relationship, it could potentially be a long-term relationship, but it also can go the complete opposite direction and fall apart. But looking at her girlfriend. Let me. I want to kind of see what her issues are, in a sense too. Yeah, I see. The partner has her girlfriend has abandonment issues, and so I think the abandonment issues comes from a lot of of course, parenting. Like that's the obvious, but I feel like the way she goes about this is like she holds on and has to clench onto things too much too, and that's her sense of control. And I think that's where your daughter could feel suffocated in that too, in that sense, But then your daughter doesn't want to also abandon it either. So there's that. If they went to therapy or she went to therapy, the girlfriend, in her own individual perspective, then I feel that she can work through this trauma. But there's also trauma with her dad. I think she's got father issues, the girlfriend as well. So she just needs to purge that. What's that?
No, you didn't see that. The lights went out. The light went out.
Oh, I know. My tech was acting weird all day today. I almost thought that my computer's going to shut down before the show. So, but I think the best to do with your daughter on this is to, let her know what her own boundaries are, in a sense of, what she really does need. And when she's not getting the respect that she needs from that relationship, then that's when she should walk away and take a break from that. Because I do feel like they go like this too much too in the relationship, and when it's good, it's really good, and when it's bad, it's really bad.
Right. Sorry, I'm just so that this doesn't happen again. Right in the middle, I'm just gonna do that. Okay.
Even better. Yeah. But do you understand what I'm saying about that?
No. I 100% do, and I just wanted to take a moment to actually validate what you're saying, because first of all, they're both Virgos.
Oh my God! No wonder why.
Yeah, and my daughter is a very classic Virgo. But anyway, so as far as the girlfriend is concerned, like literally 100%, she needs to, just do that. And then my daughter is actually more like me, whereas when she needs her space, she needs her space. And so all of that actually kind of pushes away.
Right. And I think your daughter feels guilty for doing that now. Yeah. Because of the whole, like, I don't want to abandon her. And so she's feeling a pressure with that, and just keep letting her know, well, she needs a space to understand and respect you when she's in those moments of this, that abandonment issue, but it's a learning curve. And this is something your daughter has to learn. Of course, as you know, we all had our past relationships that were kind of shitty that we had to learn from, right? And so she has to learn from this as well. And she will learn from this, and just help to navigate her so she remembers who she is and it's not losing her own perspective because of, again, trying to tend to somebody else's emotion,
Right. Yeah. And this is our first live-in, situation. So, or cohabitation. This is the first time she's been away from home, like actually living outside of college. So, actually both of them, but.
And that can be scary for them too, as well. Making that moving decision.
20. They're both only 20. So.
Hey, that's so young. It's so young.
I know, but they do what they want to do. So
yeah, that's true. But they'll learn from that. But I would definitely recommend them then maybe go into a therapy, at some point together to see someone who can actually help them at least navigate, but also help the girlfriend with her trauma, the abandonment issues. Right. Because it's funny, I would think that she had mom issues, but she doesn't. She has daddy issues, the girlfriend.
Right. Yeah, I think it's both, but it may be more the dad. Yeah.
Well, yeah, it's definitely both. Yeah, for sure. Like it comes from the parents, but it's more so the dad that triggered a lot of this. Yeah. And so I think she has divine masculine out of balance, and so she's trying to control, but then she's like feels weak and has to suffocate, and so it's very imbalanced. But therapy would help, and so I say this because I don't feel like, even though they're young, I don't feel like they would be opposed to that if it was brought up. Like, we go to therapy and talk to somebody. Yeah, we would do that. Okay. I don't feel like that would be anything that would be wrong in that sense,
Right. I agree.
Or she would resist anything of that nature. But again, 20 years old, right? Let's be cliche, right? Simple. They got to learn the relationships, and just you're doing everything you could possibly do as a mom, and reminding her to say, take your space. You need it, love. Don't let anyone take your space. Don't let anyone fuck your vibe up. If it ain't your vibe, then find your own tribe,
Yeah. Totally.
Yeah.
Totally. Well, thank you for that.
Anything else?
I do have another.
Yes, please.
Okay, so I want and need a new car. And part of me actually was contemplating even asking this question, but it's just like, well,
I think it's more so about whether or not you want to like an S. Do I want an SUV, or do I want a sedan? What do I want? So I know
exactly what I want. I know exactly what I want.
What do you want?
I don't want to say. I'm going to keep that one to myself. But
okay.
Yeah.
But what's the question on that, though?
Well, not just so much if it's going to happen, but it's more like when.
Oh,
timeline.
Okay.
I know it's fluid. I know that things can change and all of that, but
yeah, I mean, because it's such a simple thing. Like, not everything's written in the stars in this, but it's interesting because if you're wanting something out of your price range, then the price has to, you know what I'm saying, in that case. So that would deter timing. But it's more about when you feel like it's a good time to do so, because I don't necessarily feel like it's contingent on that, so I just feel like you asked a question. I'm trying to be overly philosophical about a simple question here, when I should just say a simple question. I just feel like early next year, like March of next year, I feel.
Ooh, okay.
You know, because I feel like you still have things to do to get things in order to get that car that you're wanting. But I also feel like too that it would be also beneficial to kind of wait until March of 2026 because of maybe where the market is at with the car market and so forth too. So it's likely I'm just even feel like even better with interest rates or pricings and stuff like that, and maybe even new model. But yeah, I feel at that time would be beneficial. You can do it whenever you want to. I feel like that'd be a beneficial time to get exactly what you want for the right price.
Okay.
You know, simple question.
Yeah.
Why are you being so secretive about this?
No. No, not secretive. Okay. I mean, I think because it's kind of, you know, like, oh, I want a Mercedes Benz, or I want a, you know, I want a Beamer or whatever. I don't give a shit about things like that. So
sure.
I'm kind of practical, you know, so yeah. I just want a Subaru Crosstrek.
Oh, is that an SUV? Because I wrote down SUV. Premium. Is that an SUV? Because I wrote down SUV.
It's an all-wheel drive.
Kind of.
It's kind of like a mid. It's kind of like a mid.
Mid, yeah. So I classify it as like an SUV. I mean, yeah. I mean, I'm the same way. Like I had a Tesla, and I'm like, because I just like tech. And then like I had a lemon lawsuit with it, and I'm just like, I just want a Bronco. You know what I mean? I've had two Wranglers before that, and a Mustang. I'm like, that's what I wanted. I didn't, you know, and so, I mean, they're not cheap either, but it's more about a vibe. Like, that's just my vibe, especially where I'm living now. And so if that's your vibe, that's your vibe. So, but perhaps, because I was writing SUV, and it's funny because I was kind of seeing like a mid thing like that, like a Subaru, I guess. But yeah, I feel like probably next year you have to probably have a better model for 2026. That's probably why I'm feeling that in March. Probably some with features you probably wouldn't want to pass up on because of this year, you know, or wait for the 2026 model of it. You know what I mean? I felt the importance of doing so, and also with costs and features and all that. So,
okay.
But get on it. You know, get on it. Anything else before we close? Anything, you know, deeper?
Oh, I'm pretty honest. So this is my manifestation. I know you hate, like, don't just wish it into existence.
No, it's good to look. That's you. It's good to blueprint it, right? So I would say writing it down is very important when you write things down. That's your blueprint. So now we got to strategize for the blueprint, and then we make it happen. Yeah. So some people create the blueprint, and they're like, okay. Yeah, that's what I was seeing in my head. That's like an SUV. That's an SUV. It's like midsize. No. It's not a sedan or a coupe. That's for sure. But I was seeing you get into like an SUV type of thing is what I was saying. But yeah, I think again, like, just allow yourself to understand when the right timing is for you on it. That's all. But that's the timing I feel. All right.
Okay.
All good. Anything else before we wrap up, my love?
Well, can I just say that, like, your jingles, like, live rent free in my head?
Which ones? Which ones?
All of them.
Good.
Literally, it's like, you know, culture, like randomly, and I'm just like, oh my god.
Yes.
So you guys what is the LOL? What is the
That's
LOL? That's
leading out loud. Yeah, lead.
Like,
yeah.
Oh my god. He's in my head.
Yeah, yep.
But
so,
in a good way. It's cool.
It's a good way, but I understand how sometimes it can be annoying. It's just like, oh my god, it just doesn't leave my head. But take a look at the message, you know.
It is on repeat too, like that. Yeah, it's. But hey, that's awesome because that's good on you.
Well, let's hope so, because it's not charting anywhere, so it needs to go somewhere with those fucking, you know what I mean? But everyone tells me that. Everyone's like, oh my, your songs are in my head. I'm like, yeah, and he's getting the world's head now. Like, it's just stuck here. So, I'm starting to become more Leo now. The Aqua's becoming Leo's becoming more Aqua, right? And so I'm like starting to be like, yeah, I gotta go out there now and do that stuff. And before, the Aqua's like, I just do my stuff, and so I don't want the fame, you know. But now that we're in the age of Aquarius, Aquas are being more Leos are being more Aqua, and so which I knew that was going to happen. So yeah, I'm feeling more like I got to go out there and like, you know, get myself out there, get my voice heard. I'm like, I never had that before. So and yeah, so hearing that is like, it's been a kick in my ass. Like, yeah, why am I not like bragging about my music, you know, instead of just like sliding it under things, you know. Thank you.
It's so good. It's good. Like that's what, like, I do not, I mean, obviously taste is subjective or whatever, but you know, I don't entertain crap music. So Yeah.
Hey, I like everything. I go from like hard rock to hip hop to like cheesy pop to country to bluegrass to symphony. I listen to everything, like literally,
same.
So to Christian
Same.
gospel,
Country, but
to gospel to like dark, deep stuff. So it's like I like a vast, I just like expression. If it's good expression, I like to enjoy it. And if the hooks are there, hooks are important, then I'm listening to it. But I appreciate that. So, but share it. Tell other people. Like I tell people, like that's how it helps musicians get started when they tell other people, and we rely on that because otherwise it just stays in the abyss.
Right.
So.
Yeah. I definitely do more word of mouth than like sharing online. So I need to do more of that.
Yeah, I do too. I like something. I always pass it around to people. I say, hey, check out this artist. And, but I appreciate that, my love. It's awesome to hear that. So good to see you. And yes, and like navigate your daughter. I feel like everything else is good with you. And so, and keep me posted on things too, all right?
Okay, will do.
Trying to kiss, but I have no space for it. But good to see you, my love. Have a beautiful rest of your night.
Thank you. You too.
Bye, love.
All right. Bye, Scott.
Bye. Yeah, so again, to repeat my manifestation stuff, I always go on, but it's good to, as we were seeing with Rashida, it's good to have a blueprint. Write it down. The vision boards are great. It's your starting point. Then strategize. Okay, how can I get there? How can I connect that in the life that I currently have? Right? Boom. Then things happen. So. All right, let's see who's next here on the line. We have, just so you know, I have two here, Andrea and then Carrie. First is Andrea. Your favorite, another card pull, Andrea. Okay, well, it's all good in the hood. I don't even fight it anymore. Yeah, I have Carrie's on here, yeah. Andrea, let's see what we have here. You guys feel like weird energy the past like few weeks, right? Just kind of like things are just really kind of stale. I just feel like a stale energy, I'm just trying to ride it out a little bit. But I'm like, oh, there's so much I want to do, but it's just like, things are kind of just like, How many of y'all feeling that stale energy? I know it's going to change again. It's been like fucking like a roller coaster since May. But when it's stale, I'm trying to do other things. Okay, this is for Andrea. And you got the Four of Wands. This is my new home card. Okay, so when this comes up, it's either if you just moved and it's time to really situate your home life right now. It's time to situate where you're at, but also thinking about how you can personalize your space. Yes, but I kind of feel a move is in order. I feel like for you, or a new space. It feels unexpected or it feels quick. So maybe start considering places you would like to live right now, because there might be a move soon. A relocation in a sense is what I feel. And I think this has a lot to do with personal change that you're exhibiting right now too. So, and I also feel traveling coming in with this as well. Sometime later this year, you might plan a trip, or for this year, or during the end of this year, you plan a trip for next year. So I feel movement and getting out of your comfort zone, that space too. So it's like, new home, new foundation, but then also travel and getting out of your comfort zone too, and maybe retreats or something of I don't know if it's concerts. I'm just retreats comes as a symbol for when I see going to a gathering or something that's beneficial with travel. So it could be something else, not just a retreat. So I feel a lot of that movement, with that, with new home energy, and then also travel and connect with new people in different places, different environments, and so it feels busy, in that sense. Of course, it's just a card pull, so it's very simple. We're not going too much depth there. It's just like this is the energy, but I think that's going to help you create more movement, more space for you, relocating. Says, I've been in the same spot for a while, but moved my art studio and haven't been able to settle in. I'm going to Berlin in October. Well, perfect. There you go. There you go. So that's probably the move I'm sensing, Andrea, that new space. Really personalize that space, right? And perhaps even when you take that travel that I was seeing too, that you validated, that might get you in a different space too. The reason why I think it's hard for you to kind of personalize right now is like you've changed a lot and done a lot emotionally that you quite haven't understand what your new personality is. That happens. We make change like, what's my new fucking personality? Who am I now, right? So maybe start asking yourself those questions about what's my vibe right now to understand what your vibe is now, and that's who you are, right? Make those questions. But that's good, I would say. And that change. I saw, like, is it move, new place? And that's interesting because it was your art studio, not so much a home, and I felt a travel to new home and energy. So, but I would start asking yourself, where do I want to settle into? So that's good. I think it's all good for you, Andrea. So, okay. I'm confused. Carrie's question. What's the question, Carrie? The question, should have put it in the Venmo description, but what is the question for Carrie? And Nina, if you can get that or ask that. What Carrie's question is, I'm just going to double check PayPal real quick here. PayPal. So yeah, Nina, if we can see what Carrie's question is, because he didn't put it in the Venmo, and I could answer that. I'm just checking now. I forgot to check if there's questions in PayPal. I'm checking that now. Get that in. And log in over here. Yeah. Yeah, for future references, just you put the question in the transaction for PayPal or Venmo. This way you send it there, it's there. So, and that'll be the last question. So what's the question, Carrie? Por favor. And guys, if you want to get your questions in, get them in now. If not, we're closing it down. Yeah, we're waiting on the question here. Anyway, so I will do closing while we wait for that question. Kind of give it my final thoughts, and then we'll get into that question as we wait for that to come in with Carrie. I think a lot of today was simplicity, right? And I think sometimes we over-intellectualize our own lives. You over-mystify spirituality, right? And so I think we have to come back to basics right now. And I think when we do understand the foundation, the simplicity of things, we can move forward. And the very simple message today about, like, what is your vibe? What matches your vibe? Right? And sometimes that will create a nostalgic energy where you're like, you know what? I will go back and play that Nintendo, or I will go back and listen to that music I used to listen to remind yourself of positions in your life that you were fully expressing who you were and who you are at that time. And so when you do that, then you realize life is really that simplistic. It's just, beating the beat of your own drum in that sense, and a lot of cliches tonight. But I think it's warranted right now. And so that's where you're going to feel the movement. That's where you're going to feel like, I'm getting off this pot now. I took my piss, I'm getting off the pot, and now I'm ready to express this heart movement, the emotion of the heart. And for a lot of you guys, this new chapter might be unbeknownst to you. A lot of us are productive. That's why it's been quiet the past few months. A lot of people are out there doing things. They're busy doing stuff. They're moving, right? And so they're in that movement. They're participating. And so as they're doing such, they're busy. They're not on social media. They're not watching me. They're not watching other people. They're engaged good as they should be. There's a lot of guys that are still in that mode of like, I can feel my heart, but I don't know how to quite get it going yet. I don't know how quite to get it moving, right? And so go back to basics. What's your vibe? What ain't your vibe? Get rid of it, cut it out, and solidify your vibe. It's so simple. It's so easy, but we have to understand that for this week. And, when you're questioning things or people are not showing up for you, people aren't calling you back, people are ghosting you, is that valuable? Is being ghosted a valuable experience for you? It could teach you, but is that your vibe, being ghosted, or is your vibe someone who wants to participate and show up for you? If it ain't your vibe and someone's ghosting you, they're not your vibe. Why would you want to even try to connect in with that? Or tamper with your vibe to somehow conform to their fucking vibe. right? Is it your vibe to be a slave to someone, to a boss that works or a job you don't care about, right? Of course not. So it's time for us to start really first starting to answer these questions intellectually first. And then we allow ourselves just to answer the simple question, be honest with it. We'll have ideas and the intellectual insight and awareness, inspiration, intuition of knowing how to navigate out of it into something more. It's that simple. So let's not overly complicate this or over intellectualize this. We have a lot of misinformation in our world right now. A lot of imbalances. A lot of people who don't even know what the hell they're doing. A lot of people are not like doing much and getting so much credit. And like our politicians. And what are they even doing? It's like, are they even? I mean, are they smart? Are they really smarter than the people that they're trying to lead? No. And so we have a lot of this going on, and so it's time for us to stand up and really start. Once you find your vibe and someone finds their vibe and everyone just finds their vibe, just think how much more pleasant and pleasurable life would be, and how much pleasurable and engaged people would be, right? And so anyways, now's the time. What's your vibe? And get rid of the shit that ain't your vibe. All right. And then we have Carrie's one question is, will Falern follow through with meeting up this weekend? I get hesitation with Falern. Again, this isn't written in the stars, but can tell you where he's at. Like, I don't know what decision he's going to make in that regard. But I feel like now he's intending on it, but I also feel like there's something else that might take his perspective off, right? And I don't feel like he's a very, I don't want to say not trustworthy person. I feel like he, for the most part, can be consistent. But I feel like if something catches his attention, he'll go that direction and renege. But his intentions is to meet up, is to show up and follow through this weekend. But I feel a distraction. There's a distraction going on with him that makes me feel like it's unpredictable in that sense. So I would leave it in his court. I would say, confirm with me the morning of that we're meeting up. And if I don't hear back from you that morning, then we're not going to meet up. I would set those parameters, Carrie. Leave it in his court, because if he's intending to meet up and wants to meet up and say, look, text me by noon that day to confirm or whenever. And if you don't text to confirm, then I would assume we're not meeting up. Do that and see what happens. I would change the trajectory on this. He just seems easily distracted for me. He's intending to, but there's like a but. Like, I will go, but, so. But I would just get the responsibility on him. All right. And that's what I do, because I feel like there's, again, that distraction that he might have might be like, oh yeah, I'm meeting someone, and then something else more attractive comes down, and it goes this direction, and then it just doesn't show up. So that's my advice. Say, okay, confirm. I'm going to repeat myself the third time. Being redundant here, because I'm trying to find any more about this vibe and I just don't. It's to tell him to confirm with you the morning of at a certain time that you feel is reasonable for you. Say, confirm by me, but this, text me confirmation. If not, then I'll assume that we're not meeting up. And then you have more clarity about how you can navigate this individual moving forward. All right. That concludes Thursday Night Live, guys. And I'm going to close out with what should I close out with? I don't know what I want to close out with. I'll just close out with nothing. I'll just close out and just say sayonara. I'm trying to think, because you said close out with something. I'll probably do my commercial again. Okay, I'll do that. Anyways, follow your vibes, guys. And remember, I'm here every Thursday. If you didn't check out last night's episode of Leading Out Loud, check it out. It's on my page or Leading Out Loud channel. We did a great topic, which is wonderful. My mom is texting me. What is she texting me right now? My pictures. I can't bring the pictures in here. I have to look for them and dig them up. I don't have time to dig up pictures online right now. My mom wants me to just show you guys pictures of me when I was younger, but I have to search for them and then import them in the studio. So I'll do it another time. Silly mama. Anyways, guys, and again, I'm here every Thursday for live readings. And, if you got any topics or suggestions you want me to talk about, fill me in. Sometimes I'm just like, what should I talk about today? And I get lost. So it's nice to have a little bit of inspiration on things you might want to hear me talk about or discuss, or things you're curious about. And if you want a one-on-one live personal reading with me, it's scottcruzpm.com. And I do live one-on-one sessions. They're more in-depth, more personable, of course. And they're not rushed because I'm on a live show. So I do live readings, intuition builder sessions to help you tap into your own psychic abilities and mediumship abilities, as well as mediumship sessions, which helps you to connect with those who've crossed over, which are great sessions as well. If you need some sort of healing and closure from someone you've lost into spirit, I have a session for that too. All right. So again, scottcruzpm.com, and I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your evening. Okay. You're all the gods and goddesses of your own myth. What do you want to create? Much love. Have a wonderful night, guys, and I'll see you next week.
Scott Cruz is popularly known for his life-changing one-on-one readings to also guide in your soul ascension journey. With life readings, get insight into your relationships, career, health, trauma healings, past life regressions, and more. Want to connect with a loved one who's transitioned? Scott's mediumship session can be the gateway to you and your loved ones in spirit, bridging the gap between the physical and the spiritual realm. If you want to enhance your own psychic ability, Scott's Intuition Builder session can help expand your psychic and mediumship abilities. So sign on to scottcruzpm.com to book your own personal session today.